I think we talked enough about
that thing.
democracy.
I've been watching, finally watching the Lemony Snicket.
Oh, the Netflix one that came out like 6-7 years ago?
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize there were 3 seasons of that.
There's 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do they? So I guess they cover all of the books.
I guess so. I've never read the books, but they're fun.
With Neil Patrick Harris, yes.
Yes, he's Count Olaf.
And Patrick Warburton's the narrator?
Yeah, he's Lemony Snicket.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Who's great. He's probably one of the best narrators in a long time.
We're going to get into talking about a narrator from this movie. He narrated some stuff, if I remember. I can't remember what it was. Did I write it down? I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Cool story, bro?
Yeah, cool story.
It's the greatest fucking story I've ever heard.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. I see. You're like, what narrator?
What the fuck are you talking about? Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. We're 2, not lifelong, decades-long friends. That's what it was. Talk about movies.
Yeah.
We go through them, talk about some of the history behind them, give them an arbitrary rating in which we think from a film standpoint where it stands, and just kind of talk about the movie, the themes, the actors.
Yeah.
What?
We do movie reviews.
Yeah, I don't know. If first time listening, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I know.
And we're going to talk about 1999's The Matrix, which actually, coincidentally, its 25th anniversary was a couple days ago.
No. Oh, yes, because of the, so when we're recording.
Yeah. Behind the veil.
Technically the 25th anniversary. Well, I mean, if we're looking at the premiere date versus the official the main release, you know.
So happy birthday, Matrix.
Yeah, 25th anniversary. This was happy.
You're 25.
25th anniversary. Also, I mean, happy accident. Like we did not plan this.
No, I just was like, shit.
Yeah. We both were just like, oh. I mean, we haven't talked about this being the surprise as well. So, surprise to surprise to surprise.
So yeah, it's the 25th anniversary
the
of
surprise
The Matrix.
sandwich. If you've never seen The Matrix or ever heard of The Matrix, Tommy.
A hacker discovers he is in a simulation used to control humans and is the only hope to save humanity. I didn't mean to do humans and humanity, but I didn't notice that until
that's
now.
what it is.
I know I could have written that better.
But hey.
But yeah. So this is a 1998, excuse me.
1999.
1999?
It's 1999.
1999,
Because we agreed to never do 1998 for a while.
That's probably why I wrote 19. Yeah, and then I wrote 1999 there. Where'd my pen go? I need to change that before I'm going to forget. Okay. Anyways, so this is a late 90s sci-fi action thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it.
Maybe a thriller, sci-fi action.
It was a pretty thrillery. I feel like the first one, and then it got less thrillery.
What do you mean by thriller? No.
Because like the body horror moments of like the mouth and then the belly button and then the pods and the first one's way creepier.
I mean, but
vibe.
it's such a small moment through the entire film. It's because like I feel like it's
They're
just
being chased.
It's cyberpunk, sci-fi, action.
Let us know in the
anime.
comments. Would you put thriller in this or not?
What does IMDb say?
Oh, good question. Let's see if it works. Action sci-fi.
Yep.
I don't care. They're not the end all be all. Anyways, you want to get into our creators aspects we got to get into our. So, first released at the Man Village Theater on March 24th, 1999, which is located in West Hollywood, California, for geographic near UCLA.
Yeah.
So my backyard.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Did you go to it?
And then general release March 31st, same year, and then later in Australia.
What was your movie count for 99 though?
51.
Well, I had like between like 50 and 55. Still, it's like Inspector Gadget. I watched it as a kid. Do I count it? Do I not count it? I don't remember anything that happened in it.
I weirdly remember that movie very well.
Really? I remember Matthew Broderick spinning around with the helicopter thing, and vague memories of Dr. Claw, and that's about it. So that's the thing. Like, do I count that movie? I know I watched it, but I don't remember it.
Oh my God, Andy Dick is in that.
Don't remember that. Is he Dr. Claw?
No, he's Dr. Claw's
assistant.
His goon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's why I've been doing these weird between 5-ish movies, because I'm like, I know I watched that, but I couldn't tell you what happens in it anymore.
Yeah. And this was also number 5 in the box office.
Oh yeah, box office. Yeah. This movie changed cinema in a big way.
I want to just go ahead and say too that this movie's wild.
It really is.
For what it was doing. Like, if you have seen it but never watched any of the making of stuff, you need to go watch the making of stuff, because if you're interested in this behind the scenes kind of thing.
I was so surprised how well the visual effects held up.
There are moments where you're kind of like, but in general, you're like, that's still a really cool shot.
Yeah.
And it starts off with a bang with Trinity doing the, then
what's interesting is that they did the way that they created all of this, and just quick shout out to it was Mass Illusion was the studio, and a lot of this was headed by John Gaeta, who they won best visual effects at the Oscars for this stuff. Obviously, they revolutionized the industry, but it's all of it is done. It starts with what the work they can do in camera, and then what they can build on top of that, I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of green screen and all that stuff, but the Trinity coming up, and then the panning and all of that is they're doing a lot of interesting in camera work.
Well, I think it's a really great look of blending practical and computer generated special effects. They found this really great middle ground.
Yes.
Like that, what you're saying, the Trinity
the
thing.
Bullet time,
Because Trinity is doing the kick is how she's doing that motion physically. Carrie-Anne Moss is doing that. And then they're doing the camera trick, and then adding they just.
I remember watching the making of all that stuff.
It was cool.
Yeah. Well, because also I had The Matrix on VHS, and the making of The Matrix was on after the credits for it. So yeah, man, VHSs were different world. DVD, you could just be click. Oh, let's watch it. I remember first time I put in a DVD and I saw bonus features. I was like, I can just watch that. I don't have to fast forward through the movie. I just aged myself.
Yeah, you did.
But no, this movie, not only was it super influential in its special effects and everything, but it was super influential in the sense of of bringing this style of movie into a more popular Western audience, because the Wachowskis, they had so much inspiration from Ghost in the Shell. It's absolutely insane to really think about. And when you actually compare this next to an anime, this is a live action anime. And it's in its sense of fighting and even just storytelling in an interesting way as well.
Well, and it's even with the fighting thing,
the choreography. Yeah.
There's not really a womp womp fight scene in this.
No.
And most of these kind of movies that have, you're kind of there's the really cool one, and then there's ones you're kind of whatever. But every even Neo's tutorial fight scene is a really cool, and there is no stakes to it, because that it is just this training simulation, so that your hero is not in any harm's way.
I know kung fu,
but it's a really entertaining.
It's because
cool
it's
moment.
A weird. It's enjoyable to watch because you're watching the progression. Morpheus keeps challenging him. No, you can do better. You can be better. You can be better. And you're slowly watching him be better and better and better.
Well, there's also the whole
until he can't jump.
And there's all that, and the philosophy stuff too.
Yeah.
Do you think that's air you're breathing? And he's kind of a dick about it, where he's looking at it and be
Dude, no, I love that. Like it's mind. Oh, dude, it's kind of mind breaking to think about that stuff, especially I think for that time, the sense of like reality being challenged in that way. Not many people, I feel, had fully thought about that. To see it be popularized, I should say, you know. Well, okay, we'll get into that because we should have started recording earlier, actually, because we're gonna probably want to talk longer about this episode. But let's get into our director, writing, and starring and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this was written and directed by the Wachowskis. Or what? Wachowskis? Wachowskis. I'm like, why am I saying Wachowski? Wachowskis. And they had a really I was so surprised to see the other stuff that they had done. Because I was sitting there, I was like, wait, I don't know anything else. I can't think of anything else that the Wachowskis have done other than The Matrix.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking, I'm like, oh, they did V for Vendetta and Speed Racer?
I thought they only wrote V for Vendetta.
Maybe. But even still.
Yeah, I think they wrote...
Double check that. Oh, and also Cloud Atlas. I don't know that was them. I haven't seen Cloud Atlas.
I wrote it down. It sounds familiar. I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's got Tom Hanks in it.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's apparently another one of those like really mind.
Yeah, they didn't direct it. They wrote it.
But even still.
Well, they wrote the screen.
Yeah, screenplay. Yeah. Well, and like how they kind of like got their start in Hollywood is really cool and interesting too. Is like they sold their script for Assassins, which is like Sylvester Stallone and Antonio Banderas. They sold that script to a studio, which then the director of that just gave it to another screenwriter and rewrote the entire thing.
That's kind of seems like the best job, is to kind of be like a spec writer, get $1 million or $2 million for it and be like, I don't care, do what you want with it, and just go, here's the idea, and then let them run.
I mean,
with
yeah,
it.
that would be cool. I mean, if that's it, you know, but like
if you're in it to make money.
But the Wachowskis weren't in it to make money.
Yeah.
They wanted to make their art, which is why they decided their next one, which was Bound, which I really want to see. I haven't seen, which we get kind of like forward thinking for its own time as well. It was stated in it was like they realized if they wanted to survive in Hollywood, they would have to just start directing their own. They have to become directors. They have to start directing their own work, because what they saw happen to Assassins just like was a gut wrench. And they're like, I wonder what the original like screenplay was.
Yeah,
you know, for them to be like, that's not the movie we wrote, and be like, well, fuck, if we want to see our movies, we got to do this ourselves then.
Oh yeah, Bound. Okay, I was trying to remember. I was like, yeah, I added that to my watch list.
Gina Gershon and
Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really interesting. Also, did you ever see Jupiter Ascending?
Mm-mm. Wait, what is that?
Mia Kunis and Channing Tatum. It's their last film that wasn't The Matrix. I think only Lana did Matrix or Revelations. It's like a space opera that was. I think they were trying to like do another like big thing, and it just flopped. I haven't seen it, but I remember I've seen like it like posters of it, and I remember now I'm kind of like I'm just interested to see why it wasn't accepted so well. I mean, Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like space opera, so it's like, you know.
I don't even. There's this itch in my brain that kind of sounds familiar.
Fair.
Kind of.
But yeah, no, the Wachowskis have had a really interesting career, and I mean, it just really, you know, just The Matrix just came out of nowhere. They created The Matrix. But yeah, they wrote and directed it, so like pretty short, simple, sweet for them.
Yeah. They like loud, it seems. I guess I don't.
What do you mean loud?
The Matrix is like a loud. Speed Racer is loud. But then I was like, well, now I take that back because we just talked about a bunch of movies that I haven't seen. So the two that I guess. And
also V for Vendetta, I wouldn't say is very loud.
That's a great movie.
But they didn't direct that as well.
I really want to do that movie one day. That movie is phenomenal.
We could do it in November.
Yeah. Sorry. That was so loud. I'm so sorry about that. Sorry. I was kind of excited. Yeah.
Remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Just gotta wait a while.
You want to talk about starring?
Yeah.
Cool.
Keanu.
Okay.
Who plays Mr. Anderson?
We've gotten to this point. We've done like about 150 movies, around 150 movies.
Feels like more.
It's like episode 181 or 82 is this one. And I would say like, about like that first season, because we went back and forth. So about like 20-ish, 30-ish episodes are probably just like not movie reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting movies that we like. I remember I wrote down Keanu Reeves like, oh, we've never done Keanu Reeves before. This would be really cool.
That was episode 5.
But then, and
What?
The Replacements.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. So we've done Johnny Mnemonic and The Replacements. You see?
Well, it's funny because I was convinced the other day that the movie we had done with him was Constantine.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know because I'm like, I know we talked about Constantine. I think it was in my dream reboot kind of thing, and I was like, because it was the Dark Justice League.
Yeah. Which also still Constantine 2 is still slated to happen at some point.
At some point. I mean, I will patiently wait in the corner.
I mean, Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I mean, Bill and Ted, Point Break,
Scanner Darkly.
I think
a sci-fi movie that people forget about that was really cool.
Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, that was really cool.
He has over 100 acting credits. Like
Dracula.
Yeah.
It's hard to do Keanu. It's like doing Arnold.
Like, whoa, Ted. Whoa. Oh, no, he's Ted. Theodore.
But yeah, Keanu Reeves. Nice guy.
He is. Super nice guy.
John Wick. I don't know why that didn't come up.
Yeah. I'm over him.
You over John Wick?
So over it. I'm actually more interested in the world that they're creating for it than the John... Yeah. Like the hotel or whatever.
Yeah, what is that called?
I remember.
The Constantinople.
I still haven't even seen it.
I haven't either. Or in the ballerina, right?
Yeah. It's just like the fight sequences are really cool.
I made the mistake of watching them all back to back except for the fourth one, and they blur into one.
No, I did the same thing.
I highly recommend don't watch those
movies.
Do
that.
They just become
I fell asleep in the middle of the third one. I was like, what?
Really long gun shooting scene. Yeah. And then you honestly forget what happened where.
Yeah, no, I was like, I still get confused of like the second one and the, like, is Willem Dafoe in the first one?
Yes, Willem Dafoe's in the first one.
Yeah, and then he's
dead.
No, but then like he's more of a boogeyman in the second one. No,
then the second one's like in Spain. The third one's with
which one is the black dude that he fights? Common. It's Common. Is that the first one? No, that's the second one. Or is that the third one? See? Right here. You guys are getting it. Moving on to the next person.
Okay. Laurence Fishburne? This is what I had on the list.
Yeah, sure.
Plays Morpheus, who's kind of our mentor into this new reality.
Most of his lines, I realized, are quotes from other philosophers.
Yeah, he's Neo's Yoda. He just talks in riddles.
Well, no, like literally, like the Wachowskis, like they took quotes from like different. Yeah. But
he's like Gandalf, He doesn't ever just like give you. I don't want to think about it.
Everything he says makes sense to me.
I didn't say it didn't make sense. It's just, can we just straightforward?
No, because it's about breaking your mind.
Matrix, you are.
I don't know why that got me so good. Actually, Matrix, you are
the one you will be. Agent's bad.
One I am.
But I also did write down what their names mean.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like Morpheus?
Like Neo.
No, it's an anagram for the one, or for one.
Or it means new, or the new revived form of something.
Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe that was just that the one anagram was that happy accident. I don't know. Or maybe they looked at Neo and they're like,
and then he's a reincarnated.
He could be one. The one. He's the one.
Well, he's the reincarnated version of, I guess. And then Morpheus is the Greek god of dreams and sleep. And so but Laurence Fishburne, who we've never done.
No, we haven't. And it's Fishburne, not
Fishburne. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I kind of realized that not too long ago that I've been pronouncing his name wrong the entire time. I always thought there was an O in there. It's just Fishburne.
Besides this, what do you think of for Laurence?
First thing that really comes to mind is The Predators.
Mine's Event Horizon.
or not the Predators.
If you like
Event
Hellraiser,
Horizon is definitely one.
if you like Hellraiser and you want a sci-fi version, watch Event Horizon.
It's
good.
Yeah, is it Boys in the Hood? Yeah, Boys in the Hood. That's a big one.
And a lot of Blackish. I haven't watched.
Oh, the show Blackish.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Is he like the grandpa or
I
something?
don't know. He's in 89 episodes.
Oh, wow. I mean, honestly, when someone says the Laurence Fishburne, The Matrix is the first thing that I think of.
He was funny in Predators. He was the guy that was stuck on the.
Yeah, no, he's the one that was like poisoning, getting ready to eat them.
He's like talking to someone.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, his like twist in that is fantastic.
And obviously he's in Marvel.
Yeah, but he was the voice of the Silver Surfer in Rise of the Silver Surfer.
I saw that.
I was like, what the fuck? He's also the narrator, of the Michael Bay's TMNT, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that Michael Bay did.
I never watched those.
What? Really?
Yeah. It was a franchise that I didn't really care to revisit because I liked the original, not the 90s ones. I never. The new one seems cool because the art style seems cool.
Oh yeah, I've heard it is really good too.
That's kind of I think what it was with that one. It just didn't look interesting to me, like visually. So
it was Michael Bay. It looked like a Michael Bay film.
Yeah.
This Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
But also, just really quick, Laurence Fishburne was also like I forget what the cowboy's name was. Pee-wee's Playhouse. He was a character in Pee-wee's Playhouse. He was like Cowboy Dandy or something.
And also Apocalypse Now in Color Purple.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now is fantastic.
I actually
a little small. Role,
I've been thinking about it. I don't think I've actually sat through that entire
Apocalypse Now
entirety.
That's a good movie.
It's intense, right?
It's like one long tension of like a violin string. Like,
I always want to because of the way people describe it. It just feels like a lot.
The climax of it is fucking yeah. What's
Do you
really
ever psych yourself out of watching something? You're like, I don't know if I want to.
I mean, in a sense of like, I'm just not in the headspace to watch that right now.
Like,
I mean, when you say psych out, it feels like I'm just. I don't know. You make it sound like you're. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Anywho, let's move on from Laurence Fishburne.
Carrie-Anne Moss, who plays Trinity, which is Christian Godhead as one God in three persons.
Oh, Trinity, yeah.
The Holy Ghost. One of Red Planet she was in. That was a cool movie.
I haven't seen that, actually.
The Val Kilmer Mars movie. I remember liking that. I haven't seen it as an adult, but I remember liking that one.
I'm really, other than this, I only really remember her from Memento.
That's the thing. I don't remember her in Memento. I do remember her.
Really?
I remember.
Do you remember Memento?
Not really.
Okay.
I remember her in Fido, which is
I haven't seen
really
Fido.
fun dark comedy about like it's a boy and his dog, but that dog is a zombie.
I have a vague memory of her in Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf because she's the mother.
Yeah, she's his mom or something, right? That's actually a pretty cool movie.
That's a really great reimagining of Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window.
We need to stop. We've talked about this before.
I think we have, yeah.
The deja vu hardcore. Deja vu.
Whoa.
What did they change?
I didn't see Deja. Oh, wait, no, that's only one person. Yeah. If we're locked in here forever, then
so be it.
There's spam in the fridge.
Yeah. Carrie-Anne Moss, and she's going to be in that new...
The Acolyte. Comes out in June.
Which I'm really excited for.
I really badly wanted to like reach across the table and
slap you. Yeah, that's Carrie-Anne Moss.
Definitely got to call out Hugo Weaving.
Oh yeah, God, Hugo Weaving, who plays our main villain, Agent Smith. Probably known a lot for, I guess, in cinema. Well, we talked about him.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
you know, and then
PSV and V for Vendetta.
Yeah,
and
Guy Fawkes. Yeah,
I can't think of a better voice for that character.
He's also the original Red Skull in Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He was Red Skull. Good Red Skull.
Yeah,
he was a good one. But yeah, we talked about him in Wolfman. He was the constable.
Oh, that's right.
We talked about him pretty briefly because his character was very
small. Yeah.
There. Oh, and apparently, I didn't know this, but he's Megatron in Transformers. Speaking of Michael Bay.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I I did not know that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And Michael Bay coming back again, Transformers. Great voice.
Great voice. Michael Bay. Blah, blah, blah. Michael Bay.
So that's our main, and then honorable mentions to Gloria Foster, who played the Oracle, and then I put down Joe.
We got to do Joe Pontoliano.
Who reminds me so much of Bill Burr. It's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy to kind of like look back through his list really quick because like I've seen him in a lot of shit. Because like they're in Bad Boys.
He's the chief or whatever.
He's one of the bad brothers in the Goonies.
Oh my god, that is him.
Yeah, right?
With the toupee. It's not a toupee!
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's like, I was like, wow. And he's also in Bound.
I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, so like, it's really interesting to kind of look through this list and like see where like the Wachowskis and like other actors have like all like worked together on things.
I would pay money if I had unlimited funds. I would pay Bill Burr to do his like end bad guy monologue just to have it, not just in a Bill Burr way.
Oh, like when he's like talking to Trinity and shit?
Yeah. But like I would be like, but can you do it in your stand up way of really?
I don't think he would want to do that.
Just for me. I just want to see it.
I think he might be like, you couldn't give me any amount of money to make me want to do that.
Everyone's got
I'm
a price.
spitting on you. I don't think so.
Everyone's got a price.
Have you met this man? No, you haven't. Anywho,
everyone has a price.
Do you want to get into reviews then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So on IMDb, this has got an 8.7, which I actually thought was going to be higher. I thought all of these were just going to be a little bit higher. IMDb is 8.7. Tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes, it's an 83%, and its audience score was an 85. I thought, especially with The Truman Show last week having a 94% tomato meter, this was going to be like close to that.
I get why it doesn't.
I do too, actually, because it's really interesting the journey you go on with this movie.
Yeah.
Because the beginning of it, you're like, meh, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I could also see people in having the opposite of, ooh, this is interesting, what's happening, and then once you kind of get the idea of what's happening, people kind of falling off of like me.
This, I could see that as well, and I think just for me, this is very much in a philosophical sense a movie right up my fucking alley, and we'll get into that a little bit as well.
I just think that if you could have, and I'm not saying you should have, I'm just saying you could have buried the lead a little more on this whole. We're given the information of this problem, this conflict really quickly, and you could have kind of buried the lead to lead a little more, like the scene of just little things. It's really cool how they did it, but that scene of when they're chasing Trinity and the agent are mechanical on how they're able to go up and down the roof. You know, they're able to keep their balance, and then you see the humans having stumbling and kind of like that. So you kind of have this idea of like, what the hell are these things that they're able to do this? And then that. So you could have built more mystery about what was actually happening, but they kind of give us what we need really quick.
But also in a storytelling sense, like you kind of want to give it's a tease, you know. They're showing a tease of like what's to come, but then once you break into the reality of getting introduced to Mr. Anderson, you just kind of start living in his normal basic world, and you forget about what you saw a little bit.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is that I could see people being very intrigued in the beginning, and then once we get to the real, anyways. But we'll get into that.
Reviews.
So this has 73 out of 100 on Metacritic, which comes out to generally favorable with 29 positive, 5 mixed, and 1 negative.
Who the fuck? How was there no negative for the Truman Show?
Keith Phillips gave it 90 out of 100 for the AV Club. The Wachowskis do it so playfully well, keeping the Matrix potentially confusing plot intelligible, intelligent, and suspenseful that it doesn't matter. But that's that last part. But that I agree with that in the sense that this could have gotten really convoluted really quickly, and they actually keep it, which I didn't really want to bring up but I kind of did. So that's why I kind of read this one. They could have really made this convoluted and weird and everything, but this is great until you start getting to the sequels, and then it just starts to get more and more convoluted and more confusing.
Fair, yes. But can I give me a quick question for you as well? When you finished watching this, did you want to watch the second one?
Only because it was there. Do I think it needed to happen? No.
I'm
probably going to watch the second one now.
I want to watch the last two because I realized after I watched this one, The Matrix, multiple times. Not in a very long time, but when I was younger, I watched this movie a lot. I really liked this movie. When the sequels came out, I saw them in theaters, and then I think I may have only watched the second one a couple more times. I think I've only seen the third one in the theaters. Maybe one other time outside of the theaters, but it made me sit there and go like, I remember not appreciating or liking where this went with how awesome the first one was. But I don't remember fully why anymore. So it was more of like I'm really interested in watching the next two with like a fresh set of eyes.
Well, it's like, I think that the way I pretty much the same thing. I remember the second one pretty well.
I remember a lot more of the train sequence and Monica Bellucci.
The train sequence.
Or isn't there on a train fight scene?
It was a freeway.
Oh, that's whatever. I remember Monica Bellucci.
She's in it for a hot minute, and it's a hot minute.
It is a very hot minute.
Oh no. Yeah, we talked about her too. Brother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where things are starting.
Yeah, I know.
People are starting to pop up again.
7 degrees of Nicolas Cage. Or Kevin Bacon.
Well, from the way I remember the timeline going, in the sense of the first one, very much about the Matrix. The second one is very much about the real world and the Matrix. And there's a lot of blend between the two because we finally see Zion, and we finally start seeing how how the human society works, the politics behind it, and all this kind of stuff. The different captains of all these different ships, so on and so forth. And then
the third one is so much more about the human
world.
The
third one is really about the war now on our terms, on our plane of existence. And I even remember going, I don't really give a shit about that. Because even then when I think about the second one, there's that amazing scene in the Frenchman's mansion and the walls are covered with weapons, and it's just Neo fighting these 15 guys jumping from wall to wall, they're all grabbing axes and swords, and they're flying around, and very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I think I remember also like the special effects started getting a little out of control.
They did the alien thing. They started really leaning out of the practical mix, and it really started getting. There are scenes like
when Neo's on the roof fighting all of the multiple Agent Smiths.
And there's a scene where they dogpile him, and then he does the fly thing out, and he does that pull on the ground run around thing, and it just looks so
Spider-Man 2 like special effects, like how you can clearly tell this isn't a human moving.
And it was just jarring compared to what you saw 7 years prior
to the first one?
Yeah, because 99 and the second one came out in like 2006, right? Or something
2003.
Like that. You sure? I thought is the third one come out in 2006?
They both came out in 2003. One came out in January, one came out in December.
No, it didn't. Bullshit. Lies and slander.
I ain't lying to you, because I was just about to make a comment about how crazy it is that they both came out in the same year.
You lie. God, he has a lot of voice acting credits now.
Keanu?
Well, that's a good movie. The Bad Batch. Or it's a weird movie. I don't know if good is the... That is so weird.
2003 and 2003, right?
Why did they do that?
And the Animatrix came out in 2003.
Why did they do that?
Because they filmed them back to back.
Oh yeah, so the Lord of the Rings too, but they spaced them out. That's a lot of Matrix for 1 year.
It is.
That's
right?
a lot.
I know, right?
You kind of need to let it sit and mull it over a little bit.
I think it was just like them wanting to get it out, and also you got to think this is the beginning of the trilogies really being like a thing. Like it's because of this Lord of the Rings and I forget what other movie they brought it up, but where Hollywood started to become obsessed with this idea of like making the trilogy.
Oh.
So
They were filmed back to back in one shoot and released on separate dates. So it's basically it's
supposed to be one movie.
part 1, part 2, basically.
Yeah.
That is so weird. I didn't know that. I didn't really want to look too much into the sequels. I didn't want to blend it together, you know? But that's so weird to me. I don't know why you would do that. Like, unless there was like a real, like, I mean, and there probably is there might be a reason that I just don't know, but wow. Ballsy move.
Yeah.
Totally lost my train of thought. That blew my mind a little bit.
Well, you've only read one review.
I had a point that I was trying to get to, and I completely lost. Fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna listen back to this and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna call you." Hey, okay. So what I was trying to tell you, mixed 58 out of 100 by Lisa Schwarzenbaum at Entertainment Weekly. The real soullessness here is built into the production, a polished adaptation of Hong Kong-style filmmaking that, with its cast of depressive characters, allow for little Hong Kong-style joy. Which I saw, but I also thought it was interesting because I saw plenty of moments in like this movie where you could have done a very ha-ha moment, and they didn't do that, which I appreciated. Like the scene that you kind of mentioned earlier where he's learning the Matrix jump. Yeah. They could have made that into and it is still kind of a haha moment.
Yeah.
But it's not, they didn't, but yeah, they didn't do that thing. But, you know, like
Coyote
him,
falling.
Yeah, like, but him hitting the ground, it's kind of rubber coming up and hitting, you know, there is kind of this weird kind of dark humor to it, I guess. But, like, you know, he could have jumped off and, holy shit, you know, they could have made it. And so I kind of liked the seriousness of that. And it was kind of refreshing for an action movie to be serious but not feel like it was taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
It still had this level of, you know.
Well, I mean, it's the folly of, like, you know, trying to learn everything. Like, you're gonna, they keep saying, yeah, nobody's done it on the first try.
Yeah,
but he's the one.
Yeah,
he's the one.
They're really putting a lot of their eggs in a basket without any real backing up, except for
Trinity. It's like, no, you're something you have to be because I'm in love with you.
Yeah, but Morpheus is just, you know, like, it's because I believe. And if you're kind of sitting there on one of the other guys being like,
Cypher,
you're crazy.
Because they also, I mean, they don't really fully give any reason why Morpheus believes.
No, that
he is.
He kind of does. He believes because he believes. It's kind of that's the only problem I think in the writing with this whole kind of philosophical ideal behind it is that there is a lot of it is because it is, you know, and you're kind of like, yeah, and that's
but
fine.
What has he? Oh, I think it's because since Neo spent so much time searching for Morpheus, that Morpheus was then able to like watch and observe him in the real world or in the Matrix, and
yeah,
he started to be like, maybe this man is more than.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, though, is like kind of what I was saying when things start to kind of fall apart with the sequels a little bit.
Follow the White Rabbit.
Is that they started putting, and again, I have to watch them again, but I just remember them. It felt like they started putting explanations to things that weren't either fully baked or you're kind of like
the creator.
Yeah, or even like the Oracle giving her this background, you know, where at first when you meet her in the first one, she's been there since the beginning. It's so vague that you're okay with it, and then you start giving this backstory, and you're kind of like, you're giving us a backstory on something that maybe we didn't need, like that right there. Why exactly was Neo so prominent to Morpheus as a potential the one? Because even when he meets the Oracle for the first time, there are a bunch of potential other candidates for the one that they're going to test and she's going to meet.
Yeah, literally, it's like, in a big sense, I could argue that anyone could be the one.
Yeah, because it's like the one's kind of more of a state of mind than anything. It's an unset.
Also, it kind of bothers me. It's like, why isn't anybody else figured out this shit that he has? Like, it's not that mind bending once you really apply idea of this isn't real.
The philosophy of this isn't real.
You mean there is no spoon? Oh, I get it now.
There is no spoon. I mean, it's definitely easier said than done.
Yeah, it's 100% true.
To get this level of enlightenment, but you're like, yeah, you know, why is there only the one?
Yeah.
especially. I don't know. That's what I mean is like once you start. That's why I kind of think
when you start like peeling down
the layers, you
yeah.
start seeing what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So it's like on the surface. Okay, but we'll get into that. But like so, and here we go. This is actually a great segue. So the one negative review, 20 gave it 25 out of 100. Bob Graham, and I actually read this.
Okay, read the full one.
I was able to find it, and I read.
Oh, cool. All right.
And it was actually really interesting. So 25 out of 100. Bob wrote, "It's astonishing that so much money, talent, technical expertise, and visual imagination could be put into the service of something so stupid."
Wow.
Yeah. But then you go in to read it, and that's basically what they're talking about, is that once you start peeling back the layers
okay.
of what this actually is in the sense of the philosophy behind it. And it was actually a pretty interesting review. But yeah, Rip did a new one.
Well, because like there's at a certain like what I write down here is like being in the Matrix is literally like just believing, understanding it's not real. Like at that point, it's like it's unlimited. Like it's unlimited power. Like I mean, as he flies away, you know, it's like you just like you could become a Super Saiyan.
Well, this is basically, honestly, this is kind of one of the coolest superhero origin movies ever made.
Yeah, in a big way. Yeah,
it like
when you really think about it, it's like because in the Matrix, he is a superhero.
And yeah, and it's like I wanted to make a call out for, and this is a great way to do it, is that they made a game of Matrix: The Path of Neo.
Yeah,
which takes place of the movies and everything.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I remember being one of the better movie video game because you get to be Neo.
Yeah.
And it is such a rush of power to do the shit that he does. And you know, and even then it's kind of cool. Like they do this whole thing where either the Kung Fu scene, you go and you actually do the simulation, and it's basically what Neo's seeing during that 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And you go around, you learn to do Kung Fu in the game. But anyways, but yeah, it's like, he really is just this fucking Dr. Manhattan level superhero.
Yeah, but it's also
well,
like
he should be this Dr.
Manhattan
level of superhero.
Well, because like there's like when he's like fighting Agent Smith and he's about to fall into the subway, I was like, dude, it's not just bend yourself back onto the ledge. Like, you know, it's like
because he hadn't gotten there yet.
I know, but it's like, don't open your fucking mind, dude.
Well, that's the whole fucking movie. That's the point he does.
No. I'm sorry, I'm making it sound like so much easier, but that's the journey, like, to go to discover
just get enlightened, you fucking loser. God, can you do it quickly? We're on a time limit.
I don't know. I feel like it would happen quicker for some people in a sense, like when, I don't know.
1,000%.
As soon as like
of
fucking.
course you're talking about enlightenment. Of course it would.
It's just like, I feel like fucking as soon as Morpheus like is like, you wake up in a pod and you get flushed into the fucking sewer systems of a real world. You're like, where the fuck have I been the last 30 years of my life then?
You're really downplaying the emotional trauma in this situation.
And then you're placed back into this like, oh, and then, like, it's like, oh, what? I mean, yeah, dude, actually.
You've been finding out but even then you find out your entire life that you've been eating liquefied dead of other humans.
Soylent Green!
Yeah, like, there's a lot of layers to this. Like, it's not just...
Do you think they have discussions?
You and I have anxiety attacks about living in a simulation, and you're Mr. Why don't you just become enlightened?
Dude, because if it was a simulation, then everything would be better, all right?
No. Agent Smith talks
because
about
I would
that.
be a Super Saiyan right now if it was a simulation.
No, you wouldn't. You have to live by the rules of the simulation.
Not if we become enlightened and break it.
You haven't taken the pill. I feel like I have a counter for everything you want to bring to the table.
But hold on, did you define Matrixism?
No, is that what
the religion
that
the internet created out of the Matrix?
Cool.
It's called The Path of the One.
Whoa.
I don't know if it's like still like around-ish anymore. It was like a blip on like internet sensation, and there's like a very small Wikipedia article on it. But I was just saying there was like the conversation we just had. Just imagining like people in online forums having that argument during with the Matrixism.
I would just go to watch a sermon.
I don't think there was any like actual like official meetings.
That'd have been cool. And then Neo said unto them,
"Did you?" Oh yeah, part of apparently part of their like mission or whatever is the use of psychoactive drugs, like LSD and shit.
Yeah, what the fuck do you think the red pill and the blue pill were? That makes sense to me.
I never really thought about it like that.
This whole time he's just on a wild trip.
The third, no,
He's on some mind
the
melting
Matrix
shit.
5 comes out, and he's just been in a hospital on a bad LSD trip.
Hooked up to machines.
Uh,
Oh, that's good.
okay. Well, did you have any other reviews?
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
I felt like that kind of gave the general gist of everything.
Well, okay. So, like, a big thing for this movie, this whole idea of simulation is, and like the Wachowskis asked like the main cast to read this French philosopher's book called Simulacra and Simulation, which is 100% my shit. You know, I've talked about like Jacques Derrida and like semiotics and whatnot. This book is an extension of that post-structuralist idea of how the world itself is just a sense of like signs, images, semiotics that we control, that are our mind. And what's really interesting is in this, and I see where they got like their inspiration for like the idea of this movie, because like the guy that wrote this, Jean Baudrillard, he's like he's actually gone to say that the Matrix like a bastardization of like his theories. And I was like, no, dude, it was inspired like. As Tommy writes that note, I'm going to try this again. My computer doesn't like it when I am recording and go to the internet sometimes, so sorry for that.
The machines
don't like it because we're about to fucking, you know. Hopefully this doesn't do it again. Okay, so this is what Baudrillard says. Baudrillard claims that current society has replaced all reality and meaning with symbols and signs, and that human experience is a simulation of reality. I'll just end it at that part, because that's where I think the Wachowskis got their inspiration of this, is just thinking about the idea of like, well, if our reality is a simulation, then what is reality? And the idea of that the computers or the machines then create this world for us to live in is then this construct that we are trapped in, which is what post-structuralism talks about in breaking down binary, essentially. You know, the world isn't black or white. You know, time is a construct, gender is a construct, all stuff like that. Which weirdly, again, you know, knowing that the Wachowskis are trans, like this, you see this inspiration, you see like these remnants of like where their minds were at that point as well. And even like one of them did come forward saying like, yeah, no, it actually is like, this is really big metaphor of transition. And I just wasn't aware that my mind was doing it at that time, you know? So like this post-structuralist idea of what is reality and what isn't reality, it's just like, this is the shit that I fucking love, you know, because it's looking at like how we are controlled in a sense by like a consumeristic media, like a dominant world, because these images keep telling us what we like or what we want. When we're on our fucking phone, you know, it's like I bring up one thing about, you know, I've been doing my Duolingo Spanish. I'm now getting ads in Spanish, you know, it's like it feels like a simulation because we are now monitored so much that we are shown what we are, a reflection of ourselves in a weird way.
Yeah.
And, it's really interesting for them to like get that we get this movie out of that.
Well, the thing though about that though is that even with this movie having the theme of the simulation and everything, if you're peeling it back, there are some moments that are really interesting, like Agent Smith's whole conversation with Morpheus about basically talking about the Garden of Eden, you know, you know, with the religious tones and stuff they throw in there. That whole conversation, and that, you know, basically humans are developed, are shown who they are by conflict, you know, so we put you in this perfect world and entire fields died.
Yeah, humans didn't accept it because,
you know, it's the whole thing of like helping a butterfly out of their cocoon. The butterfly will die. It needs to get out of the cocoon on its own. it's like those kind of things are all well and interesting too, but it's just like that's like kind of what I was getting to in the beginning as well, is that there's this simulation thing, but we are taken with our main character. We are taken so quickly out of the simulation, put into the real world, and then thrown into, like, if you kind of think about like piece by piece, this movie happens really quickly. You know, we see Trinity, her conflict, then we see Mr. Anderson and his dead end job working for the man. Then they come to grab him. Then Trinity and Morpheus and their troop grab him. They bring him out. Months go by, clearly, from the hair, or a significant amount of time, going from completely hairless, now having some hair on his head. Significant amount of time comes back. They basically give him his training, throw him back in there.
That's right, because he's not bald by the end of the movie in the real world, right? Anymore?
Yes, he has a shaved head.
He still has like the buzzed head at the end of the movie still?
Yeah, at the end of the movie still. Okay. And then we go meet the Oracle. We find out he's not the one. Then we have
she told you exactly what you needed to hear.
And then we have our big final conflict, basically, you know?
Yeah.
And we never really dive into it's kind of, the narrative is kind of on what we already know about the world we live in 1999.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that we don't really see much of the simulation except for that brief moment with Neo in the kind of the beginning.
And that's also another thing, is like, because you also got to think about in the construct of this world of the movie.
Yeah.
Not like the Matrix that they create for the movie itself.
Well, it's like he says like the sense that they made it based off the peak of our civilization before all thing went to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one of the things that kind of like I get a little like about at the beginning of this movie is how 90s action flicky it begins and feels, with all of a sudden all of these New York cops, these beat cops, are chasing after this. It's like, no, cops don't do shit like that. They're not gonna run on the roofs chasing after this. No, they're gonna be like, fuck, she got away. God damn it. You know, it's a movie idea. It's a movie trope for.
I think they changed
no.
I don't think I think they would have stopped where they stopped.
I think as soon as she starts jumping one roof, no, they're not going to jump one roof. The super jump, of course not. But like, no, it's like, God damn, she's fast. It's fast to get alive. You know?
What is that?
It's super bad.
Oh. That sounds so familiar.
But like, and also like, you know, and then the agents show up and they're like, this is my jurisdiction. It's like, you don't even know who these people are yet. Like, they haven't even shown you. Just see men in suits. You're like, this is my jurisdiction. Like, it's like
they don't say that. No, the cop says that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, the cops are saying that. It feels
but
very.
You recognized him.
It feels very contrived. It feels very 90s action movie.
Yeah, but I just think in that scene specifically too, when he gets out of the car, the chief or whatever says, "Ah, shit!" Like, I think he knows them. I think it's like,
which also doesn't make sense.
Why would Sentinel programs?
The cops are?
No, the agents.
Fair, yeah.
They're Sentinel programs, so they're agents.
Yeah.
But
you see, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Is what I'm trying to say is that you got to think about it in the construct of what the Matrix is in this movie.
Fair, but then I think it goes back to my original point where how are we supposed to know that when you're not really showing us what the rules are? Because you're putting it, you automatically put it in of our world we're living in. These are the rules. No, this is the same thing with the tasty wheat conversation.
Yeah.
These are the rules the machines have made for us to follow.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
That's when you break your mind and you start to learn everything, man.
You know what I mean, though? But you're like, you don't actually know what the rules are of this world because they're not our world. I mean, who knows? Maybe they are. Yeah, you know, like maybe, you know, I don't know. But at least in the context of this conversation in this movie, it's just, there's this part of me that just really, you know, might get flack for this, but peel away the incredible things they did with special effects wise, this movie has a hard time floating on its own.
But I see what you're saying with that, and I
have to say I kind of feel that way.
I kind of disagree. I see where you're coming from, and I just don't. I don't fully agree. Like, I agree with some of what you're saying, but like, I disagree more. I don't know how to say that. Because like in a sense of like, yeah, they don't really have to explain what the rules of this simulation fully are.
Right. You're right. They don't until they start making sequels that don't make sense.
Yes, fair. But we're not talking about sequels. We're talking about this as its own individual film.
Yes.
And especially in a sense, if we're still being believed or, led on that these people in a simulation believe they have free will, then those are the rules. The rules are created that there is a construction controlling what they do, but they are then programmed to believe they have free will.
Well, don't they have free will?
But do they?
Inside the simulation?
Do we have free will?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm able to think that we have free will, so therefore I have free will.
No, is that just programmed into your brain to just think you can have free will due to the world of our semiotics?
No, because I mean, with Neo too, even when he's still in the simulation, he has the choice to go out the window or go with them. He decides to go with them because he's too scared to go out the window. Mm-hmm. That's free will. They have free will. It's just in the constructs. It's the same thing as it's a government, right?
Or is he starting to get free will because he's overcoming the machine now?
I just think that, well, because it's like the Cypher thing. Like Cypher makes a really good point. Like you're like, yeah, he's an asshole and he's killing his friends, but his logic of he now feels trapped in this pretty bleak real world. Because even then they're sitting there eating the steak and he's basically like, I know that that's like, it's one of the best lines in the movie.
I know that it's not real
but the Matrix is telling my brain that it's juicy and delicious. Takes a bite and just, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
It's one of the best scenes in that
which then also maybe start to think again about Plato's cave, the shadow on the wall, or, shadows on the cave,
And that's like, even then I liked the two that really stood out with me was food. Those are kind of my two favorite dialogue moments, weirdly enough. Kind of reminds me of Tasty Wheat. Have you ever had Tasty Wheat? Well, no, technically neither of you. And it's such a great line because you're like, it's very subtly fucks with your head.
Yeah. Or even like the Oracle was like, it's going to really break your brain if you think if you would have broke that vase if I didn't say anything at all.
Yeah. There are these real like little lines in it. But even that, the ignorance is bliss thing. It's like at the end of the day, this whole, I guess what my thing is, what is the deal with being free? What is the purpose of being out of the simulation and Matrix? To live on this planet that now, because of this war, it is the machine's planet. Even if you win it back for them, we scorch the skies. It's a barren wasteland that can't hold any life. What the fuck do you want with it? You can't do anything with it now. It's done. Live in the simulation. Have the steak. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like on Cypher's side on it. I'm like, well, the hell are you gonna do? And I think that's getting into the whole explaining thing. It's like, and it kind of is a lot of the movie to me. I guess that's what I'm gonna is eat the carrot, where you're like, okay, yeah, you as the audience member, you're human. You want the humans to beat the robots. Great. Why? What is the end goal to beating the robots? Other than waking up, and even more, and that's kind of what it is too. Even Morpheus is walking through is some of these people aren't ready to be unplugged. Then who the fuck are you to unplug them? If they're not going to be able to handle the reality, you have no right to take them out. Leave them in there. That's their world. That's how they want to live. Great, leave them alone. I don't know, and that's what that was. I was having this problem with just eating the carrot because I just found myself going like, I don't get what the point is. What is the point of freeing everyone?
It's the rapture.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were going for.
There's so many different ways you can like connect like allegorically like what everything in this movie is.
And I guess,
but you gotta like, and you're really onto something really good with it, is because it's about the real world,
Yeah.
Not the Matrix, the simulation they live in. The conflict is about the machines and the humans and the war that they're in.
Yeah.
And but the weird thing, god damn it, it's like trying not to get to into the other ones.
Well, it's hard to, because it's like this movie was done.
Yeah.
This movie is done. It honestly on its own sits very well. Him flying off, and you're like, oh, now he has his powers, and your imagination kind of runs, and it lives very well.
Yeah, I remember at the end, I was like, cool. And then I heard there was going to be sequels. Like, what? How is it going to continue that?
By making the sequel, it's the same thing of like a big trilogy, like Lord of the Rings or whatever, because Lord of the Rings is one story.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to talk about just the Fellowship because the characters do change throughout and become different people. Now that they made these other movies, you kind of, their journey isn't over, so you kind of now have to talk about the sequels.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it was concluded, and then they made it not concluded until the fourth one, technically, which I actually completely forgot about that one until just now.
Yeah. No, we had to watch it twice, remember?
Yeah, we watched it twice. I'd be like, let's try that again. But yeah, and it's like, and Grace, I always say you don't have to be spoon-fed things when it comes to your...
Yeah, eat the carrot.
Eat the carrot. But I just was really sitting there going, I don't get the point. Is it the point to give people the option to choose to live in this one city deep underground, hiding from murderous robots? Or let them dream their dream?
Well, I think that's the thing, is like they could continue letting them dream their... Like, if they destroy the machines... Then they can slowly go into the Matrix and find who is who would be willing to be awakened or wants to live out the rest of the stuff, possibly. What?
I just realized something that this might seem really stupid, but I just never really thought about it. The Matrix is a shared simulation, correct? We are all in the Matrix together.
The idea is yes.
Right. It's not every individual person...
Their own individual dream.
It's
simulation. No, it's a shared simulation.
It's a shared simulation, correct? But there's a moment where this is where I just thought of this. Neo says something about, I can't remember exactly, but all my memories aren't real. What does that mean? And then Trinity responds with that the Matrix can't define who you are. But if it's all a shared thing, every girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever he's had, every partner, every relationship, friend, parent, whatever, that's all he had those interactions with other people, which means those interactions were real.
They're perceived real.
How are they if you're living in a simulation together?
Because he truly wasn't born in the simulation, but he has memories. Oh.
But you're a baby. You start off a baby, you grow, you die, they liquefy you, they give you... What is it? You get a consciousness at some point? Wouldn't it just be like birth? At a certain point, the brain develops enough, and then you have consciousness, and then you start making your own memories with interactions you have with people. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, so because I don't really remember them explicitly saying it's a shared simulation. It's something we just kind of assumed. Is it a shared simulation or is it an individual simulation? Because then the agents are able to pop in and out of these other people, but even then, when Neo jumps into Agent Smith and explodes him, there's no body there. Where's the body of the person that Agent Smith had jumped into?
Oh, I mean, I think that's just more of like
he destroyed the avatar.
Yeah. Type thing.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. But even then,
the idea of just right now, I'm thinking of like just this like shared simulation, because I would say again what Trinity's he's like, so none of my memories were real.
Yeah, he's talking about how basically all of his memories were implanted, like everything and then what does that mean about life basically? And she's like, that means the Matrix can't define you. But then it poses the question of, well, actually, how does, again, we're kind of going to, how does the Matrix work?
Because if the idea of like life, birth, living, like he has memories of his parents, and his parents have memories of giving birth to him. So then,
because they grow humans in fields, they grab them and they put them on these pod.
Yeah, they're batteries. Yeah, they're food for the machines.
They simulate. It's safe to assume they simulate the birth. Yeah, I'm actually now I'm really like, wait, how does the Matrix work? What are the finite details about that?
I don't want to think about this anymore. My brain's starting to hurt.
Well, we knew that was when you talk about the Matrix. That's the point. But yeah, I've actually just...
I was having fun thinking about like how I could just bend reality. There is no spoon.
I just never...
And now I'm questioning what existence is. No,
I just never...
For them.
I just never really put much stock into it of, is it a shared simulation or is it individual simulation?
Yeah, that's a really... I feel like...
It has to be a shared one.
I feel like the idea presented is that it is a shared simulation. How that works, obviously, is... The machines know.
Yeah, because because I guess when Morpheus, because Morpheus is talking about what I just said earlier too about a lot of these people aren't ready to be unplugged yet. I really, maybe if you real honestly are thinking, can think of something that we're not thinking of, you put in the comments. I can't really remember a moment where they specifically give any idea of, is it your own simulation or a shared one? I can't really pinpoint.
I feel like it's.
I'm gonna watch it again.
It's insinuated.
It's a shared simulation.
Shared simulation.
Yes.
In this, because of how the interactions of the world.
Yeah.
And the way that they enter into it, it doesn't feel like it's like, yeah, because like when they re-enter the Matrix, they're not re-entering Neo's Matrix.
They're entering the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it must be because they're able. Yeah. Okay. So it's okay. Shared. It's a shared.
Yeah. God damn, that was a 6-minute journey of crazy right there, man.
Hey, that's the point. But I also want to say that you can very at least with the this Matrix, the first one, it definitely does feel like an act of love. Like it really feels like people were really invested in it. And then we were kind of saying in the beginning, if you watch the making of too, watching everyone do their special effects and their fighting scenes is really fun because like there's even behind the scenes footage of like Laurence and Keanu and they're practicing their moves and their choreography, but they got like broken arms and shit.
Yeah,
because they just landed the wrong way or fractured something.
Oh, even like Hugo Weaving like had to get hip surgery or something because he like dislocated his hip.
Yeah, like everyone just got really fucked up for this, and it's like not great, but I appreciate their
commitment to the work,
and it feels like that when you watch the fight scenes. It feels they're like I was saying earlier. They're just all of them are very fun to watch. Mm-hmm. For one moment or another, there's always something very interesting.
It was actually really crazy. Like I wasn't expecting to get like a sense of like goosebumps, like chills of like a really cool moment, but it still got me when Neo at the very like the final climax, that final fight scene with Agent Smith, when he decides not to run. And he turns to face Agent Smith. Like,
in the subway?
Yeah, in the subway.
That's the cool scene.
Yeah, no, I got chills. I was like, I remember I was like, whoo. Like, it just, I was like, oh, it's still giving me that feeling. And that's the thing. It's like, regardless of like peeling back the layers and everything, the storytelling in this is fucking good. It gets you invested. It gets you into it. And it's like them saving Morpheus is such an epic moment.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, like it's like
that was a really fun.
And
scene
the pacing through the entire movie is really fucking well done. This is a great movie. So like, yeah, we could like peel back all of the theoretical shit as much as we want, but at the end of the day, this is a badass fucking movie.
It's a badass action movie for sure.
You know, and it's like you peel back all these layers. Yeah, it's getting complicated because we're talking about complicated fucking ideas. Like, as humans, we still don't understand the bounds of our own reality. You know, we could be living in a simulation. We don't fucking know.
The prison Earth theory.
Yeah. You know, so like, yeah, when you start breaking down this post-structuralist like theme and world, it's like, yeah, there's people have been talking about these like ideas since like before the 60s. It's like now more of a common conversation to have today's age because it's now more common philosophy. You know, it's almost a century of people having this thought of this post-structuralist world.
Well, and it's like kind of cool too. I was having this moment of like, if you play video games, I feel like it's not necessary, but this movie is a different kind of digestible in the sense of when they start talking about some rules can be made, some can be broken, some can be bent, all this kind of stuff. And you're sitting there, you're like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's coding.
Yeah. Well, and the Wachowskis are self-proclaimed gamers. Like they love to game. They played shitloads of games.
I'm wondering if that's why the game did so well, like the adaptation from movie to video game, is because it's already a fucking video ass game movie.
Yeah,
like with the shit that goes on in it. But yeah, it's that's I guess my biggest grievance with it is I think visually it's great. I'm blown away at how well some of the special effects aged. Obviously,
I think the only one that didn't age well was the Agent Smith exploding. That was the only one that looked kind of like, wow, that was really computer generated.
Yeah, because the squibs looked fine. Squiddies, what are they called?
The machines?
Yeah, they call them something.
Squigglies?
Squibbies? Octopies. I don't remember what they call them.
Squidbillies?
Squidbillies, yep. The Squidbillies. Squidbillies were just cool. You kind of wonder why they designed them like that. Like the machines, like in
why they were like...
Why they designed them as these...
Looked like weird sperm.
Octopus, sure. Why does candle smell like fireball? That's where your mind's at. What was it? Yeah, you fucking derailed me again.
Sorry.
Oh, it's just the writing, just in that sense, and it's just so weird. I don't think I can, off the top of my head, can think of another franchise where, you've watched a franchise and then you're like, the second one is third one's really, you have that moment where you're just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. I've never felt, and again, I want to watch them again, but felt like the sequels really kind of did a number on the lore you're building, in the sense of that you feel like you're either explaining things I don't care about, or I feel like you're putting a little too much time into something that we could have we need to kind of backtrack to the first one and let's kind of explain that.
Yeah, yeah.
Why'd that happen? We now have another, because each movie is like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I know.
So you're kind of like, you couldn't have put.
It's like the world that they start. It's like, instead of focusing on the world that they had built, they started to just try to add more to that world.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way of putting it. They started adding more without expanding. They didn't expand it. They just kept elongating it, and you're just, and that's my only problem. And it's just having a really hard time separating the two, because I really feel like
I think it's easier for me since I haven't seen the second and third one in so long,
that they're so far removed from
like there's even like moments of like the third one that just spawned into my head that I forgot about, of like, in the real world, Neo becomes like
fucking the Messiah.
Yeah, which was, it's like, what? Yeah,
it got really heavy handed.
It gets real Jesus-y.
Well, and then I also feel like they did a disservice to, I think, one of the better like villains. Agent Smith is a great villain.
Yeah,
just the mechanical, the Mr. Just Hugo Weaving. Just
God, it's interesting is like
well.
The journey of him. Now I'm also remembering again the third one. Agent Smith's kind of like, he wants out of the...
Yeah. But that's the thing. In the first one, it seems like from that whole conversation he has with Morpheus, he just doesn't want to exist here anymore.
Wait. Are the agents machines, or are they just programs inside of the Matrix?
There's Sentinel programs. They're just programs.
So...
They're not.
Oh,
that's why he becomes like a virus.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, that makes more sense going into the third one of how he wants to find a way into the real world.
But that's where I think they kind of ruined it, because in the first conversation with Morpheus, he basically is like, I don't want to exist here anymore. I don't want to. If we end this war,
if we end this, I'm gone. Yeah,
I don't have to be here.
It's kind of like that whole idea, like, of, in Vanilla Sky. God damn it, we're wrapping all the way back.
Well, the end of the blocks.
I know. And the his lawyer in Vanilla Sky, it's like, no, I'm real. Well, how old are your kids?
Yeah.
What are their names?
Well, it's
and
like,
the realization, like, the agents have already a conscious knowing that they don't exist technically.
Well, no, but it's also,
that's fucking crazy.
Well, then you also don't even realize how old these programs are. They can't die. Whenever they die, they just jump to another host.
Oh my God, what is consciousness?
But they can't. So you have no idea they don't even know how long this has really been going on for.
Yeah.
This is the same Agent Smith that.
Well, he's even like, I don't know if I can't. I'm blurring also like stuff that I've read to like what actually he says, because it feels like it's what he said. But talking about building the utopia for the humans, and how, because the humans rejected without conflict. Apparently, there was a longer monologue of that as well, where he explains that more in detail.
Uh-huh.
And I forget where I was going with that.
But like with that whole dialogue, I thought it was just interesting of that. It's almost like this nihilist. He's a sentient being in a lot of senses. He shows anger and frustration, but he's almost nihilistic in the sense that he just doesn't want to be here anymore, which I felt. I got that. But it's like, yeah,
I didn't choose existence.
Yeah, like this, he just is like, I just want to be done. I want to be free, and that's what I thought was interesting. He never talks about going to
be free.
He never talks about going to the real world or anything. He just doesn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
He's tired of here, and I thought that was really interesting. But then the sequels, they start making
which then means the machines, the sentients, they're no different than the humans.
Yeah, then he becomes like the threat. Weird. Yeah, I need to rewatch those sequels.
Right.
I'm now like, okay, maybe that is better than I initially thought it was, because it is an interesting concept on paper, because he becomes then the biggest threat because he becomes a virus to the Matrix.
Mm-hmm. And also wanting, and then
I don't need to go into the real world,
and then a threaten to the real world as well.
Yeah,
because,
I don't care about that one.
All right, well, we should probably start wrapping up.
But yeah, like me, I like this idea of him taking over the Matrix though, because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, well, now the jailer is now the prisoner, so now the prisoners are going to take over.
What?
He like takes over the Matrix.
Yeah, but
But that kind of goes against his whole. That's it. We'll do those movies one day. That's a whole different conversation.
maybe we should read Simulacra and the Simulation.
Nope.
I'm down to read it.
Yeah, have fun.
Right up my fucking jam. I love that shit.
Yep. I don't know. Where are you leaning?
I'm like at a 4.5.
Yeah. Okay.
5. I'm almost at a 5
I can't. I can't give it a 5
because the peeling away the layers.
Because of what I said, it would be kind of hypocritical and kind of, it's. I think that
We gave Truman Show a 5 out of 5, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think but that's for what it was.
Yes, true. It's true. I guess. Yeah.
For what this is,
and for what this is, and because again, like for me, it's like I feel like some of the storytelling of like the 90s like cop street scene stuff like feels it dates itself in its sense of like, oh, this is still a 90s action flick, but
yeah.
but it was so influential in what was to come because of the special effects. I would also say story wise as well.
I think it's just also you have to keep in mind is that you'll find yourself watching this and like, okay, like that whole scene where they tag him with a little squid thing. Mm-hmm. You're kind of like, okay, if this is a program and you guys are the man behind the curtain in the sense of your programs inside the program, why is it necessary to have this horrific squid thing crawl through his belly button, which doesn't exist?
That's the sci-fi of it, yeah.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, well, then you can make the argument that, well, since there are rules...
Okay, there's the thriller thing I'm kind of seeing right there, yeah.
But there's the rules of this construct, so they have to... you can make excuses for any... it's like, Harry Potter, why? Because magic. You just got to go, it's magic. That's why. So
why don't they just fucking use the magic to end everything?
That's not how magic works. But you know what I mean? So you kind of...
Why don't they use the eagles to fly to Mordor?
You kind of have to just let it go and just go with it.
Yeah.
Very eat the carrot.
Eat the carrot, yeah.
But so just because of that, but I think it's visually, it's just incredible.
It's
music
crazy.
is great.
Dude, I actually I give...
You feel good. You're like, get him.
The sound mixing in this is fucking superb.
I mean, give me Dragula and any scene, I'm down.
Well, I mean, no, it's just even like the explosions and everything is like, how many movies have we watched where it's like all of a sudden like this scene is just blaringly loud and you're like, Jesus Christ, you turn it down and then it goes to the next scene and then they're talking like this. And you're like, can you, now we gotta turn it back up. Like, can you find a fucking balance? The sound editing of this movie, perfect. There's a reason why I won an Oscar for best sound editing.
Oh yeah, it won a bunch of stuff.
It won a lot of just like special effects stuff, like best film editing,
best sound effects editing, best visual effects, best visual editing.
Yeah.
Oh, and the whole franchise is on HBO Max.
It is,
for their 25th anniversary.
All right, 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah, definitely a 4.5.
I mean, this is up there in some of the
I mean, it's like rated like one. Still, like
it's
one of the best sci-fi films of all time.
It's one of the best sci-fi action films ever.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it nails it in that part. And can you find a little fault in the philosophy of it? But you can find fault in any philosophy.
Yeah, but like I was saying, it's like that philosophy is still like it's a very complex thing that in 1999, people were still fucking. If they're still like debating and debating about it all now, still. back in 1999. I mean, also it's the fucking the Simulacra and Simulation that was published in 1981. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's like the post-structuralist theories that a lot of this is based around are still very complex ideas that we're having discussions about in today.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So yeah, okay. 4.5 out of 5 carrots. Yeah. So that's what we get the Matrix.
I guess we don't. We're moving. We're changing
gonna
what
talk about
next
that,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta figure that out.
Like, follow, subscribe, all that kind of stuff on all of our posts. You can find our link tree where we'll have all the connections you need to listen to the podcast. Spotify, Apple, we're on YouTube, so on and so forth. Find the one you want, click it, and it'll take you to us. Again, this is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape, or TJ's mixtape on Instagram. That's the easiest way to find it, I think.
I don't know.
TJ's mixtape. TJ mixtape. Yeah. This is Tommy.
But not on any other one. You got to actually look up Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
N. The letter N. It's not Tommy and. It's Tommy N.
We tried to make it as complicated as possible.
We thought we were being real cool, guys.
We thought
we were so clever.
And then it got too late to turn back.
Remember when we were good reviews for people who like bad reviews?
I still like that one better.
I do too, actually.
Ours doesn't make sense. This is Tommy.
It's just Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob mixtape.
Time is a construct.